بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أصحاب المعالي
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. In the name of His Excellency Professor Jamal Sanad Al-Suwaidi, Director General of Emirate Center for Strategic Study and Research, I am pleased to welcome you all with us today in the 10th Annual Education Conference entitled Education and Jobs of the Future, Developing Qualified Human Capital to Secure the UAE Progress. We will be progressing for 2 days. We would like to note you will find at your chairs the brochure for the 10th Annual Education template. Please fill it out. We will be honored to have your feedback and opinions. Now we will begin with the welcoming remark by His Excellency Professor Jamal Sanad Al-Suwaidi, Director General of ECST. On his behalf, Ms. Amal.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Your Excellencies, Your Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I would like first to welcome you all with us here at the Emirate Center for Strategic Study and Research and for accepting our invitation for the 10th Annual Education Conference entitled Education and Jobs of the Future, Developing Qualified Human Capital to Secure UAE's Progress. This annual education conference comes into place because we care much about education since it is the main driver for development and the growth of any community. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the UAE, as you all know, and since its establishment on the hands of the late Sheikh Zayed, may his soul rest in peace. Ever since the beginning, we care about education. We have a pioneer vision represented by His Highness Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed, the President of the UAE, and his keen care for the importance of education to cope up with the very rapid pace of the development around the world. Mohammed bin Zayed University for AI specialized in AI research and studies, the first of its kind in the world. This shows the vision of our country for the AI and technology, enhancing technology to the growth of the country. The ECSSR also cares much about education, especially with regards to the jobs of the future and the importance of building human resources to sustain the country as a human resource in the future. This conference will discuss a group of important matters. We will have 4 panels. First, we will talk about education and preparing UA generations for fourth generation. The second panel will talk about the jobs of the future, ambitions and challenges. The third panel will be about exploring the future. And the last and fourth panel will discuss the successful international experiences in education, such as Finland and Canada. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am certain this conference, with the presence of the elite, will give us serious matters. We'll talk about serious matters. And I will extend again my thanks to you for accepting the invitation. And I hope you all the well-being and successful. Thank you very much.
كل الشكر
Thank you very much, His Excellency Professor Jamal Sanad, for his welcoming remarks. Now we will have the keynote address by His Excellency the Engineer Hussein bin Ibrahim Al-Hamadi, Minister of Education. Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Al-Mualla will say it on his behalf. Please, the floor is yours, sir. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I am honored to extend His Excellency's Engineer Hussein, the Minister of Education's thanks to you. And then I would like to thank the ECSSR for holding the 10th Annual Education Conference to talk about an important subject: education and jobs of the future. To be more specific, how could our education systems build an education generations to build our countries? No doubt, answering this question depends on the preparedness of the education system of any country to adopt with change and benefit from the radical changes in the future markets, which is an inevitable for the fourth revolutionary industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution will happen due to the technologies and biological changes. This will change the way we work and the way we live in the future. It is expected that this change will be unprecedented in the history of humankind from the size, scope, and sophistication. Therefore, it is very important that we interact with that change and to cooperate with each other to that change. And despite of the benefits from this revolution in increasing the world global revenues, open new markets, and supporting the economy of countries, but at the same time it will lead to increase in injustice in the markets, where talents will be more important than the capital in production chains. This will lead to a futuristic market segregated more than ever into two main categories, and those two main categories will have a big gap. We will have a low talents with low salaries. The second category will be high talents with high salaries. This will lead to distortion in communities. This revolution also will affect the market by having some sort of new jobs that will replace the present jobs. The qualifications of the new jobs will be different, and they will change the way we do business. Therefore, countries have to update their systems and education, and they have to work urgently to build new talents and skills from all ages, in particular in sciences, technology, and the soft skills as they call it. Maybe one of the most important aspects that we need to look at is curriculums, training teachers, and reforming education. The UAE has started its preparedness to the jobs of the future by issuing the Emirates Millennium in 2071, looking at education and aiming to be the best in education in the world. The country has launched the fourth Industrial Revolution initiative as well. We have a national planning strategy with 12 new education skills divided into 3 categories. The first category is the basic skills, which means scientific, technology, and financial skills. The second category is the qualifications, which is represented with innovation, cooperation, and coordination. The third one is the individual skills, which is adaptation, leadership, cultural awareness, and building self. The program right now is enhancing measurements to measure those categories, developing them by concentrating on 3 main categories: students, new and experienced employees. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Education in the UAE has worked on a plan to develop education, where it took its vision from the new future requirements for the country. The Ministry of Education also depended on international standards. It took care of curriculum, education environment, technology, and the new methods in teaching, in addition to promoting the teachers' stance in the future. This caused to have a new Emirati school to cope up with the new developments, to build a very proud generations in the future. Curriculums were reformed, science and literature was changed to include different aspects, to have professional, technology, and general, intermediate, and elite curriculums, focusing on sciences, mathematics, and bilingual in coordination with the requirements of the fourth industrial revolution. By those paths, we added many new curriculums such as computer and technology, sciences and innovation. We included also life curriculums and professions to build new capabilities, to support the new generations with the ability to discuss and to critique creatively and to have some analytical capabilities. Also, we have a moral education, and we insert a third language, which is Chinese. And for teachers, we have made available training programs such as ad hoc trainings, skills of education conferences, and all of those programs, they look into the scientific curriculums in the new Emirati school. Also, in higher education, the ministry has launched a national plan for higher education, which is based on 4 main pillars: quality, innovation, coordination, and qualification. We have an appropriateness skills which looks to the market needs by graduating students with the abilities to the marketplace with 2 main deviations. The first, to have full knowledge of the marketplace, consulting them with all aspects of education such as designing software programs. The second one is making available an education experience, a better one, ad hoc and specialized to the needs of students by making available many courses and making available new programs in the school classroom activities. We have started new initiatives such as establishing a council with the private sector, making available new chances in the marketplace, making available chances for teaching, and having also a supportive system for students, launching a portal for students, and reforming the scholarship system. We also have established a new department at the ministry called the Marketplace and Graduate Students. It has questionnaires and templates to be filled by the graduates and those aiming to work at the marketplace. Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking into a future period with too many challenges. Those countries capable of foreseeing the future and developing its education students will have students capable of working at the marketplace efficiently, and those countries will be the pioneer in the world, and this is our objective. In the end, I want to thank you all, wishing you and this conference the well-being and success to meet its expectations in developing and evolving education in our country, and this will surely happen with your presence as the experienced one. With all due respect, thank you very much.
نشكر معاليه.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now, with the second keynote by Her Excellency Najat Fallow Belkacem, the former Minister of Education, Higher Education and Research from the Republic of France. The floor is yours.
Hello everyone, and thank you, Minister, for your speech. You are going to see that we are very coherent. But I want to start off by thanking our host, the Emirate Center for Strategic Studies and Research, for inviting me here to speak and share with you some of my experience and insights. As you may know, I am a former French Minister of Education, Higher Education and Research. And I am currently, because I've joined the private sector, I am currently CEO of Ipsos Global Affaires. Ipsos is a market research and opinion research company in the world. In other words, what motivates me personally, yesterday as today, is shaping our future by keeping in the forefront of research subjects relating to our world and the challenges that it faces. And it appears to me that few subjects will shape tomorrow more than the way in which we provide education to our children. Regardless of where we are, developing qualified capital is absolutely essential to secure a country's progress. How, do you ask, can we secure a country's progress? It's by asking the right questions and setting the right education policies. What skills do we teach to our children? What technical capabilities do we encourage them to develop? What values do we instill to them? My role is not to find specific answers to these questions. Rather, the experience and the insights I bring to you should help set the foundations of the UAE's future, one that will be built on human capital and talents. It appears to me that developing qualified human capital relies on two closely related aspects which will set the framework for my discussion. The first aspect is understanding the future of the workplace, as you said, Mr. Minister, so that today's youth will be equipped with the tools to tackle tomorrow's challenges. The second aspect is comprehending the expectations, the aspirations, and the ambitions of the stakeholders involved, and seeing how to best align them with the requirements of an evolving market. So let's start by looking into what we know about the future of the workplace. My first insight is that this future of the workplace will be shaped by the current revolution we are undergoing, driven by automation and artificial intelligence. Estimates vary, but one study suggests that approximately 30% of tasks across 60% of jobs will be automated within the next 10 years. Furthermore, whilst it is impossible to predict exact consequences, two broad trends can be established. On the one hand, some jobs will disappear. On the other hand, certain jobs will become more productive thanks to the input of AI. However, while it is difficult to precisely determine how each job will be impacted, the process will take place across both blue and white-collar professions. My second insight is that for the short and medium term, say the next 5 to 10 years, the jobs which are most likely to lose out to AI and automations are jobs which are repetitive. On the contrary, jobs that are most likely to remain relevant are those that involve handling unpredictable and situationally different tasks, such as plumber, for instance. Those that involve creativity, such as in communication or graphic design. Those that rely on strong human interactions, such as in sales or people care. My third insight is that for the long run, that is beyond the next 10 years, it is very difficult to anticipate the movement and the evolution of the job market. What is clear is that it will continue transforming even more quickly than today. This means that workers of the future will need to be more flexible and more ready to adapt than those of previous generations. new criteria for competence and aptitude will clearly emerge. What does all of this imply for education? It signifies that our current model, under which people graduate from school or university and then progress in their career without ever returning to the classroom, is not longer relevant. Rather, evolutions in the workplace require that developing qualified human capital becomes an iterative process. In other words, governments must invest in lifelong training, as the workers of the future will need to learn new skills at various points of their career. This must include hard skills and technical knowledge, such as, for instance, coding, to be able to work with the tools of the future. But it must also include soft skills, such as the capacity to work as a part of a team. Yet, education is not something that should be unilaterally imposed by government on its country's youth. My experience as a Minister of Education and Higher Education in France has taught me that education policies are truly successful only when they are implemented in a way that includes all the stakeholders, that is, university, recruiters, and of course, students and pupils themselves in the decision-making process. A recent 20-country survey of people aged 16 to 25, carried out by my company, Ipsos, gives us valuable insights into the expectations, aspirations, and ambitions of today's youth. There is much to be proud about. More than 80% of these people are satisfied with the education they are currently receiving, with those studying mathematics and science expressing most satisfaction. Furthermore, 82% of pupils express optimism about future opportunities. However, this should also come as a warning. Young people today have high hopes, and we must not let them down. In addition, while they may be hopeful about the future, less than half of young people feel ready to tackle the challenges it will bring. Our youth is aware of the upcoming transformation in the workplace and needs to be provided with tools to deal with them. Yet, our survey gives us a second warning signal. Recruiters are more pessimistic about young people's ability to enter and fit in tomorrow's market job. This points to an understanding gap between the expectation of our youth and the reality recruiters are facing with. How then can we ensure today's students are ready to enter tomorrow's workforce? The answer is to implement collective policy-making process. On the one hand, recruiters should anticipate the future work and skills requirements they will need and signal this to the governments and universities. On the other hand, governments and universities should continuously invest in adapting, skilling, training our youth to meet the needs of the future employment. Businesses can be clearly more closely implicated in providing the training for hard skills. This is consistent with the data in another of our recent surveys. Both youth and recruiters see businesses as being the main responsible actor for preparing young people for the future at work. Yet, too few employers help their current and soon-to-be employees improve either their technical skills or provide them with training for new technologies or products. Conversely, education ministries and universities can emphasize on soft skill training, such as communication and organization. Nearly half of young people feel these are not sufficiently taught at school. In addition, a similar proportion feels that creativity is not valued enough. Public policymakers should also be willing to embrace new technologies and introduce them into the classroom. For example, a majority of youth would like to see more audio and video content in their studies. Because in fact, the people aged 16 to 25 consider browsing the internet and watching documentaries among the top 3 activities that have the most positive impact on learning. So they need to be taught how to do it correctly. This leads me to the topic of EdTech. The transformative power of technology in education has not yet been harnessed. This is mainly because decision makers lack a clear strategy for the changes they want it to deliver. EdTech, technologies of education, EdTech will never replace the personal connection teachers and students share, nor can it provide the same level of tailored face-to-face engagement teachers offer. However, these technologies, if it is well implemented, can have clear benefits. EdTech can give teachers and students a wide range of resources that open up new perspectives. It can show concepts in new ways and help to access learning from anywhere. It can leave teachers more time for vital face-to-face teaching by reducing their administrative burdens. And it can really help make education more accessible to disadvantaged learners. Why is it that up until now, this EdTech has failed to live up to expectations? Research points out to at least 3 explanations. First, there is often a lack of independent evidence about which EdTech products improve learning outcomes. This means that popular but ineffective products stay on the market. To counter this, one needs to demonstrate that a product will bring tangible, measurable benefits. Second, procurement processes tend to be fragmented, so effective technology doesn't scale. And third, school administrators who sign contracts with EdTech companies do not dialogue with the educators who actually use the products. This means that teachers often lack the training to use the technology that they have. As a conclusion, because I don't want to be too long, AI and automation are rapidly transforming the job market everywhere in the world. Therefore, developing qualified human capital to secure a country's progress will require constructive dialogue between governments, universities, and recruiters that aligns itself with the ambitions and the hope of our youth. Thank you very much for your attention.
كل الشكر والتقدير لمعالي.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And now, with the third keynote by Dr. Abdulrahman bin Mohammed Al Asimi, Vice President of Education from Saudi Arabia. The floor is yours.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Peace be upon you. Praise to Allah and His Prophet Muhammad, and peace be upon his fellow companions. Your Excellencies, Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is my pleasure to meet with you and participate with you at the 10th Annual Education Conference here at the Emirates Center, which is held today under the title Education and Jobs of the Future, developing a qualified human capital to secure the UAE's progress. I would like also to thank the Center for their invitation to participate with you. This conference is important from two aspects. First, it is connected to education, which we all seek to enhance and increase its qualities and outcomes. Second aspect, it discusses one of the most important aspects, which is the extent of which education can foresee the future and cope up with the potential changes to the marketplace and to the many other potentials and challenges that put us responsible before our new youth generations. Ladies and gentlemen, the history of mankind did not see rapid changes like those that we live today. Those changes has caused radical changes to communities, culturally, politically, and socially. And ever since, innovations and inventions were emerging never-endingly to lead to a more important development to mankind. The world has outlived major 3 industrial revolutions, the last of which we have seen in the past centuries. Technology is instilled in our communities. We are seeing an unprecedented new technologies, electronics, softwares, applications, and innovations. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are on the steps of a new history. We are witnessing new changes requiring us a comprehensive understanding to the context and a complete understanding to the challenges that we will see. In the past few years, AI researchers has developed nanotechnology, sensors, efficiency of computers were increased, speed of internet is very fast. This is the 4th industrial revolution, rising from the ashes of technologies, and it mixes the sciences, physics, mathematics, and AI, and the Internet of Things, to have extreme challenges impacting our everyday life. And above all of that, many countries will need comprehensive methodologies to deal with those changes and restructure its sectors and infrastructure, to restructure its critical infrastructure, to reap great benefits and avoid its negative impact. Above all of that, to have human resources and build their capabilities to this change. Ladies and gentlemen, the global researches and reports issued from different competent authorities indicate that the marketplace will witness great changes in the very near future. Those changes will change the job opportunities throughout, having many jobs disappear in comparison to having new jobs. This does not mean that we need to be scared of this change. No, we need to embrace it. We need to reap benefit from those changes, and this requires flexibility, creativity, creating new opportunities to build capabilities to the needs and requirements of the new marketplace. But yet there is a question, is that how can we, as long as we are the authorities responsible for education, how can we cope up with those changes surrounding us? It might be very important when answering this question. We need researchers, we need a comprehensive analysis to the present time, we need to surround all possibilities posing themselves on us. This will help us to expect any futuristic changes and to have a comprehensive understanding to those changes, to the marketplaces in the very few coming years. We need to put the needful plans, which makes ministries of education around the world and leaderships around the world and other stakeholders, puts us all in front of great responsibilities to graduate qualified students to face the new world and to cope up with the future and its new opportunities and challenges. Yet it requires us to work towards finding a new mechanism that through which we can foresee the future and see the requirements of the new emerging jobs and see what are the skills that need to be merged to enhance the capability of students to those new markets, to have education institutions and higher education institutions looking into the research, innovation and scholarships to concentrate on the new programs. All of that should be in accordance with a clear plans and a methodological path from different sectors national-wide, and to have workshops on international standards, whether in the UAE, Saudi Arabia or any other country looking to develop their human capital. Ladies and gentlemen, Saudi Arabia, since very early stages, has invested in its human capital. This investment has crystallized itself in the vision of Saudi Arabia 2030, and we have new technology initiatives with objectives to have more focus on the fourth industrial revolution. Riyadh, few days ago, has signed an agreement with the Global Forum regarding the fourth industrial revolution. The forum will be held in the KSA, which is the fifth in the world. This reflects the great importance that Saudi Arabia is paying in the leadership of King Salman bin Abdulaziz and his crown prince Mohammed bin Salman. And in a rush, I would like to point out some of the initiatives. Lately, we have launched a new system to Saudi universities. This system makes available flexibility and independency on the financial level to make universities more capable of foreseeing a future. As you all might know, Saudi Arabia includes today more than 28 Saudi government universities and more than 15 civil universities and more than 40 colleges. All of those universities have different measures and colleges. And most of the programs we have launched, they will meet the requirements of the new marketplace. We have also a program for the king, a program for scholarships. It aimed hundreds of thousands of students. They were sent abroad to study in a very respected universities around the world. I would like also to note that the Ministry of Education is developing curriculums, developing high schools, establishing ad hoc universities, all in the sake of foreseeing a future. Saudi Arabia also is seeking to develop all teachers' programs. Last week we have established a workshop institution, a national workforce development institution. Ladies and gentlemen, those efforts, and by the support of our leadership, they became a pioneer model to develop an infrastructure by making available the newest technologies under the umbrella of the fast-paced world we live in. We are, more than ever, have to take care of the coming generations, prepare them for the new marketplace, to embrace their talents, skills and ideas. Change is a way of life, and those scientific revolutions, those cultural changes, they are an accumulative fact of the human change, and we need to adapt, embrace, and try to interact with those changes along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to thank the Emirates Center for Strategic Studies and Research for inviting us, giving us the chance to participate in this one-of-a-kind conference. And also I would like to thank the UAE for hosting us generously, asking the Lord to protect our countries and help us in progressing under the wise leadership. Thank you very much.
كل الشكر
Thank you very much, Dr. Abdulrahman bin Muhammad Al-Asmi, for your speech. We will leave you with a 10-minute break. After that, we will start our conference.